So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. My concerns with the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. Now, let's just get it out of the way right away. I love the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. I've given it nothing but praise since it has launched, and even gave it some praise even though it had some bugs when it first launched here, like March 2022. So definitely don't take this as I don't like this phone and I'm no longer recommending it, but I am going to talk about the things that I don't like about it because I've given it nothing but praise, and I want to kind of balance my perspective out so you kind of get an idea of some of the cons of this phone as well. I don't want it to be all praise because I think there's some areas that Samsung can improve with this particular phone. Let's begin with the first device right here, and that is the slower rollout of updates. Now, the funny thing is literally just today when I was going to shoot this video, I finally got the update, the April update. It's April 20th. We're literally like a week away from May, and I'm just now receiving this April update for, the April patch. Now, that's the first thing. Yes, it came. Don't get me wrong. They're still doing better than a lot of Android manufacturers out there. But still, this update, I seen an article for this update that it launched, what was it, like 2 or 3 weeks ago? So definitely, I don't like the fact that I'm getting this 2-3 weeks later. Like, I don't feel like it's as safe, with these vulnerabilities and all these bugs these days. So I just want to see, Samsung push these out all at the same time. That's something they could seriously improve, especially for a phone that's costing me $1,300. That's just something that bugs me about this still on the Galaxy S22 Ultra, just how late the updates come in. Yes, they're going to be updated for a very long time, but they just don't come in at a record speed. They don't come in fast, and that's what I want to see. I don't want to see it fragmented and scattered where like some people get it in another country, other people don't get it in other country. It's just annoying. So that's the first thing I like to say. The second one is the animations. Now, I've talked about this before, but sometimes you can see how they kind of fly out. They just don't look super smooth all the time, and I know it depends on how do you move it out. Like if you go out slow, it'll come out a little bit slower, and I know there's accessibility options where you can just turn off the animations. That's not what I'm saying though. What I'm saying is I think Samsung can get a little bit smoother with the animations. It's just the experience is just not quite as smooth as like the OnePlus series of devices, and they could work on the animations a little bit to be just a little bit smoother. They're still good, don't get me wrong, I still like them, but I think that they can get just a little bit better. I'm nitpicking here, but it's just a concern I have because I used the OnePlus 10 Pro and that phone was butter. This one, still smooth, but I wouldn't call it butter on the animations. Now, this one right here is a big problem for me. It's the battery life. Now, a lot of people, will say, what is this guy talking about? The Galaxy S22 Ultra gets me through the whole day. Well, that might depend on the type of user you are. I have the thing on full brightness. I'm using WQHD+, 120 Hz. I don't play around with those power saving modes. I don't want that. I bought this phone to use it hardcore. So you can see right here, I haven't used it in a couple days actually because I was getting tired of not getting my update. But you could see right here, take a look at my battery percentages. I'm just charging it because it keeps dipping kind of quick. Now, you can see right here that I made it through most of the day and it wasn't fully out of battery. It was around 50%, but what I'm saying is this phone will be down in the 10s, 5%, almost gone by the end of your day. And yes, that's enough to say I make it through a day, but I don't want to deplete my battery that far down. I like when a battery leaves you so much battery and then some that you can almost make it into the second day. So I'm not impressed with the battery life here. It's a concern of mine, and I think that Samsung with a 5000 is kind of shocking that this phone doesn't make it a little bit longer, but considering all the features, you could say it's not shocking either. At the same time, this battery life was good for me, but it wasn't great. I was not overly impressed with it. And yeah, you can kick the settings down. I don't want to kick the settings down, bro. Listen, I didn't buy a $1,300 phone to go play with power saving modes. This is, wireless power sharing. That's not the one. The power saving modes up here, I'm not about that life. That's not what I'm trying to do right here. Bro, I'm not trying to put 70%. I bought a Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. Look at me putting it on 70% decrease. Decreasing my brightness? No, as a matter of fact, I actually like Samsung's new mode in here where I can go ahead and raise the brightness even more with some extra brightness. That's how I'm trying to use this. This is a power user phone right here. The fourth reason I have a concern of this phone is the curved edge with the S Pen. Now, I've been using the heck out of my S Pen. Love it. It's super smooth. This has got great latency, and I'm going to give it all the credit it deserves. This S Pen is amazing on the Galaxy S22 Ultra, but let me tell you one thing I get super annoyed with this phone, and I think it's time Samsung just flattens the screen out like the Galaxy Note 5. I'll be writing and like the notes turns off like you seen right there because I go on the edge, or I just won't register because of that curve over there, and I'm not happy with that. And sometimes it just moves, it gets the note out of there because it just erases the note, backs me out because on accident I'm clicking the side because I'm trying to write. It's lame. So definitely I want to see Samsung flatten the screen out. Like, you could make the same design, just flatten that edge out a little bit more. Even if you don't want to fully flatten it out, I mean, you did it with the Note 5. Like, it's getting in the way of my writing, and I'm not a fan of that. So definitely a concern of mine. Some people are going to say, again, you're just nitpicking. You could just write in the middle of the screen. At the same time, I have a 6.8 inch screen, 6.9 inch screen, big old screen. I want to be able to write without closing the note or having it go off the edge and just mess up my note. I don't like that. Number 5, fast charging on this phone has been adequate but not overly impressive. This is a small thing I wanted to mention, but it does charge faster than the iPhone 13 Pro Max and my Pixel 6 Pro. However, it's not a faster charging experience than a lot of the Chinese phones like the OnePlus series, the Xiaomi's of the world, things like that. This phone is not the fastest out there, and it doesn't matter which charger I seem to use. It pretty much charged at the same speed. It just says super fast charging, and it charges the same speed. Not overly quick. I think they can up the speed of charging on it, would just really up the experience, because considering this battery life is not overly impressive, it's good, but having an extra fast charger like a 65 watt would probably really take this to the next level. My next one is that the storage on this phone is definitely, you know, good, but I miss my SD card, like the expandable memory. I still get it on these Tab S8 Ultra, but I don't get it here on my Note 22 Ultra, and I don't expect them to bring it back. Don't get me wrong, they're not just gonna bring it back because Nick Ackerman made a video saying I don't like that they don't have SD card no more, but at the same time, you know, SD card right here was a great experience with this phone. And just plugging it in just feels, I just don't like plugging it in. I like to take out the SD card, stick it in the computer, you know, transfer media really easily. This phone just doesn't offer that no more, and I'm not a fan of it. I'm just not. Like, I was used to having the ability to take all my photos, transfer to the next phone, swap the media really easily. And I know, like, that's kind of an older school way of doing storage, but at the same time, I kind of miss it. Definitely a concern of mine. And the next thing is inconsistent performance. Now, don't get me wrong, this thing's a beast. We have 12 gigs of RAM in this 256 gig. I don't like that they start now at 8 gigs of RAM. They used to start at 12 gigs. That's pretty not cool for the entry level Galaxy S22 Ultra, but 8 gigs is enough, I guess, for some people. But this phone has inconsistent, you seen the animation, that was just chopped right there. But this phone has inconsistent performance in that I was on the browser the other day. I was actually clicking links and the whole thing just locked up on me. Like, not the phone itself, but the browser just froze. So I'll be getting these freezing apps sometimes where, like, I'll just be doing something and it won't register. And you could say it's the developer's fault, stuff like that. But at the same time, the experience hasn't been flawless. I've been having some apps freeze up, and even some Samsung based apps. So like some of the Galaxy apps have actually been, you know, locking up a little bit and just not operating properly sometimes. So that's a little concern I have. What I want to say about that is that in the future, I hope Samsung can be just a little bit more ready with the phone before rushing the product out. Like, do some more testing before you launch it with these bugs and these things. Like, it's just, I just want to see it a little bit more ready to go right out of the box when you ship out the Galaxy S22 Ultra line to me, or the S23 Ultra when it comes. And I also been missing a few notifications on this device. So I've been missing some text messages here and there, not frequently, but sometimes I do, and they're like, hey, I texted you, bro. Like, I just have to tell them, I don't know, I'm using my phone, and the heck. And they're like, well, whatever. And then they just start talking to me, but I missed their text message. So some stuff like that happens. So at the end of the day, do I still recommend this device? Those are all my concerns with it. They're kind of nitpicks, some of them, but most of them have actually affected the user experience. And I think that's where Samsung is still falling a little bit short. They do have such an amazing piece of hardware. If you notice in this video, I didn't have any concerns with the specs. I didn't say the cameras were bad, because they're not. I didn't say the battery was too small, because it's not. I didn't say that the phone feels cheap, anything like that. I didn't say anything about the display, because all these things about this phone, the actual physical piece of hardware is absolutely stunning. It is gorgeous. And yes, I still recommend it if you can overlook some of these things, but it's down to the user experience. How long the battery lasts throughout the day. I feel like I'm on the charger than on this more. I feel like there's a couple chops that just don't make it feel butter. It just doesn't feel, it just feels like it's got to get a little bit smoother to be the best out there. Samsung has got the hardware game locked down. I feel like their hardware is just beautiful. They make custom colors. They have beautiful looking piece of hardware. And if you don't like the square look, you can go with the Galaxy S22 Plus. That's not the thing. I think they just need to work a little bit more on the UI, make it a little bit more polished, a little bit smoother with the animations, up the battery life and optimizations and things like that. And then you have essentially the perfect Android device. They can get a little bit faster charging, stuff like that. But it's like they're almost there. And I feel like this a lot of the times with Samsung. It's like they're almost there, but there's just something missing. And I think it's down to those couple optimizations. Literally just some really, if they just invest some in some good optimization, I mean, I think we have the best phone on the market today if they just invest in that. But until then, the competition is still very competitive with this device, in my opinion. Let me know your thoughts down below on the Galaxy S22 Ultra. Do you think I'm crazy? Do you think this phone is the best device out there? What is this guy talking about? And by the way, if you're looking for a lot more the positive content where I praise this phone, and I'm going to stick by those praises that I gave it, you can check out my full reviews, my comparisons. I've done a ton of videos on this phone already. They'll be linked in my playlist down below. Nick here. Be sure to be well. I will catch you all in the very next episode, and peace.